Bears supposed to have the toughest schedule, out of everybody. Are you more or less encouraged by what the actual schedule is?
God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So when I saw that the Bears had the toughest, strength of schedule, I just knew we were God's strongest soldier. And
Bear
God is
down.
testing us. So I actually do like this schedule because we're going to be playoff ready again this year. To quote the Avengers, they know Caleb Williams, the true Iceman, is inevitable. Shout out George Gervin, shout out Drake, but there's only one real Iceman.
Yeah, we yelling at the screen every Sunday night. Talk slick, throw the remote, we just want it right. Front office tripping, man, they can't get it right. Whole city heated, but we still gon' fight. We talking Bulls trade, biz drafts, missed calls, club slump, soft rebuild. We seen it all. Yeah, we loud, yeah, we gritty. I'm a little frustrated, but I still love my city. Yeah, north side, south side, west, we united.
Q, it's Friday, May 15th. So we got to talk about Iceman.
I listened to the first 1.5 tracks.
Oh, you talking about Drake. I was talking about Caleb. I forgot Drake trying to steal Caleb's swag.
Did you see him in the Packers jersey?
Drake, man, I was rooting for you. When you put that Packers jersey on, you was acting like a hoe, bro.
You know that's a good sign, though, right? Drake never picked the winner.
It is a very good sign.
He never picked the winner.
He don't.
Also, Kendrick Lamar is a huge Bears fan.
I saw the tweet.
Yeah, he was pissed. And I know what team he's talking about. He's talking about that 2012. He said this was supposed to be us in the Super Bowl. If you recall, they went 10-6, but they kind of sputtered down the stretch because Jay Cutler, of course, got a little injury when they were 7-1. And that team scored a bunch of touchdowns defensively. And remember, that team had B. Marsh, Forte, rookie Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett. Urlacher was in his last year, but playing good ball. Lance Briggs was having one of his best years. Peanut had a career year. They had a nice squad. But if you remember, what happened at the end of the season to keep us out the playoffs? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. I remember we needed two of our division ops. I think we needed the Vikings to win. Or was it the Packers? Okay. We needed the Packers to win. Yes, right. We needed the Packers to...
The Packers were playing the Vikings, and the Packers did not show up at all. Even though they could have got a higher seed, they didn't show up at all purposely because they knew they were going to play the Vikings the next week if they lost. And I'm not saying the Vikings were weak. They were 10-16, but they were a weak.
No. They were weak because you remember what happened the next week. The Packers beat the shit out of them.
I think their quarterback was Christian Ponder that year or Teddy Bridgewater. Whatever the case, they weren't a team with any upside. And the Packers knew that. Remember, they got some sneaky wins down the stretch. They were 500 most of the year, but they got hot because they played a soft schedule down the stretch. And the Packers just laid down like the $2 whores they were on their back and let the Vikings penetrate them because they were too scared to play the Bears. So they opted to play the Vikings instead. So I know what Kendrick Lamar was saying because that was a weak NFC, and we definitely could have got to that Super Bowl.
I hate the Packers and anybody that wears Packer colors. Drake, that includes you. Let's talk about something that's a little bit more artful than Drake dropping 43 songs at midnight. How'd you like that Bob Ross Roma Dunze schedule release?
I didn't see it.
Hey, I liked it. It was one of the better schedule release. We got to add in some yellow, and I'm going to pull out cheese grater for the Packer games.
I love that. You're a top 10 pick, Rome. I need you to give me a 1,200-yard season, though.
So based on what we heard before, we known who the Bears are playing long ago. We know who was going to be home. We knew who was going to be away. Bears supposed to have the toughest schedule and, out of everybody. Are you more or less encouraged by what the actual schedule is?
God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So when I saw that the Bears had the toughest, strength of schedule, I just knew we were God's strongest soldier. And God is testing us. So I actually do like this schedule because we're going to be playoff ready again this year. I'm fully confident that looking at the schedule, we probably will see most of the NFC playoff teams before the actual NFC playoffs. So
I don't think the Bears have the toughest schedule anymore. For one, the Bears don't have to do a lot of traveling. They only got to cross the Mississippi one time, and that's to go to see Seattle, right? And that's all the way at the end, towards the end of the back end of the season. Two, we got 3 of the first 4 games at the crib.
Yeah.
That's a really good advantage to start your season with, especially when you coming out of training camp. You don't have had as much practice time as prior eras of football. You don't hit that much. Preseason isn't as long as it used to be. So you use
Mhm.
September as a de facto preseason. So if you can play a lot of September games at home, and you remember how good the Bears were at Soldier Field, that is a good booster step to start your season. And the tough games are backloaded in the end of the schedules, where the Bears are probably playing their best ball, built their calluses up, and ready to hoop. I think the schedule makers, that whatever AI bot that the NFL uses, they did the Bears a favor. And you know what? Remember the episode we did where you said the NFL is scared of the Bears? They trying to keep the Bears from, starting off this dynasty. I think we may have overstepped. The
Mm.
NFL looking out for the Bears.
Quote the Avengers. They know Caleb Williams, the true Iceman, is inevitable. Shout out George Gervin. Shout out Drake. But there's only one real Iceman.
The Bears.
Again, we knew who the Bears were playing all before May even got here. The defending Super Bowl champ plays on the opening day. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I think the Bears are going to get Seattle.
That
I
was the
mean, it
rumor.
makes sense. It made sense. But unfortunately, the schedule makers, they wanted to make us watch a rematch of the Super Bowl, which is a boring game. Why we got to see that again? I don't want
Drake
to see
may
that
better
again.
come with it. Because if it looks, here's a secret. The Super Bowl was playing in the background. I had stopped watching that by early third quarter. I had muted it. And I think I started binge watching Breaking Bad that night. It was, no, for real. And I'm in season 5. I'm in the last season. I'm bringing it home. But yeah, thanks to the Patriots and Drake May shipping it in early, I got to see a classic. So I can't be too mad at them. I laid some money on Seattle, and I was confident that I won by the second quarter.
So right after the Bad Bunny's concert, you said you got up out of
I got about
bigger surprise, the Bears not playing Seattle in week 1 or not having any international games again this season.
I'm going to go with not playing Seattle week 1 because the hype train ended the season when the NFL released an hour of Caleb Williams highlights, led me to believe that they would probably start the season off with him versus Super Bowl champion. It was almost a layup because the Seattle won the Super Bowl. You built up Caleb Williams. He's young and upcomer. I felt like that was an easy call. You put him against the Super Bowl champion. You put an exciting rebounding team, ascending team with Ben Johnson, who is a coach that everybody likes and thinks highly of, and with a quarterback that's ascending. So I really thought not playing Seattle was the surprise.
That did throw me for a loop just because I felt like the rumors are too good not to believe them, right? Just
Yeah.
like what you're saying. But I'm going to go another way. After looking at the schedule, the biggest surprise I got is seeing the Bears playing on both premier holidays. They got a game on they got a game
Christmas.
on Thanksgiving. They got a game on Christmas. First time in franchise history, the Bears are playing on both them days in a season. Now, granted, NFL don't usually play on Christmas, but things happen. I can't waiting for that. And you know what? And this is a little bit of a segue. They're gonna play on Thanksgiving. They're gonna play on Christmas. They might not be the last holiday they play on.
Valentine's Day.
The Bears have their bye week in week 10. Is this a good or a bad thing for this team? Have a bye week so late in the season. Now, you remember last year,
It was
the
week
Bears
5.
had a bye. It was week 5. That was the actual MVP of the season. That was one of the unheralded heroes of the season to have an early bye week. I think the NFL should actually look into having an early bye week for all first year coaches, just to help guys get their skis together. Because you remember the Bears were 2-2 going into the bye,
Yep.
and
Barely survived the Raiders.
put belt on the Cowboys. But you know how the Cowboys are. But we came out of that bye and we turned it up. There was a lot of deconstruction going on in the bye week. You heard about it. We came out of that bye week with a new left tackle. There's a lot of things that happen in that bye weeks. I understand how the early bye week can help a team fix things or get the ship righted. Is this a good or bad thing that now the Bears have a week 10 bye week?
I'm going to be positive, Paulie. And I'm going to say it's a good thing this year. They're returning a lot of the same starters on offense, pretty much all the same starters. The left tackle is yet to be determined. But if Braxton Jones wins that job, you only really have a new center. I consider Luther Burden a starter from last year. I mean, at the end of the year, he was starting. So I think offense will have a much better understanding and grasp of the playbook this year. I think defense, even though the secondary has a lot of changes at the back end, the safety position, I expect them to have a firmer grasp. So I think a week 10 bye week heading into the second half of the season, getting a chance to get healthy for your final playoff push, because I expect this team to be a playoff team this year, and I expect them to perform like a playoff team from week 1. I don't mind that week 10 bye. Like you said, I think we needed that week 5 bye last year. I think this year it might benefit us to have that week 10 bye. Granted, we don't have a bunch of injuries pile up early in the season, but all things being equal, we don't have any a huge assortment of injuries like we had early last year where we didn't have Gordon and Jalen Johnson. All things being equal, I think that week 10 bye could be really good.
That's a really good point. We don't have the rookies this time around. We are going into a second year in the system. So it's not necessarily a thing that we really need that crutch, you know what I'm saying, for that early bye. Basically, for me, that week 10, it's the perfect place for this team for where they're at. The good teams really do have late bye weeks more times than not. So I have the Bears as a good team. I expect them to be a good team again this year. Give me more late bye weeks if that's the case.
Week 10 bye week and a bye week to start the playoffs. I'm all for it. Bear down.
What's the best thing you see? What's the best thing from this schedule? I'm going to tell you what I liked. The Bears got 9 home games. That is the best thing I like. Other than having 3 of them to start the season, 3 out of the first 4 games are at the crib. I like the fact that the Bears are at the crib 9 times. What about you? What's the more favorite thing you see out of the schedule?
That is one of the things I love. Another thing, I don't know about you. I actually do like seeing my Bears at 1:00 or 1:00 Eastern, 12:00 p.m. I enjoy getting the Bears W to start the day and then watching football peacefully the rest of the day into the evening and watching my fantasy teams. Um, but with that being said, I have to say I enjoy all the primetime games. Not that I necessarily like having 7:00 games. I like it for the fact that the Bears are getting respect nationally, that the Bears will be seen more nationally, and that this is a return for the Bears. So it's a double-edged sword. Like I said, I don't know about you. I like the 12:00 games, but if you got a season full of 12:00 games, you're probably coming off a down year or you're not expected to do
Mm-hmm.
well. So I like that we have
Mm-hmm.
so many primetime games because I think the Bears are a primetime team. They're a primetime franchise. And it's time to break that nasty, pesky little streak of not having a Super Bowl win in multiple decades.
Now, let's start getting into some of these games. Detroit Lions will be hosting the Bears on Thanksgiving. That is the first of the holiday games the Bears are playing. It is the 20th time that the Detroit Lions have hosted the Bears on Thanksgiving. As you know, the Bears have not beaten the Lions since 2023. We definitely owed them one, especially since that 52-21 blowout that they gave us last year. They got to run that fade. It's going to be a short week for the Bears. But the Lions are coming off a bye. They will be playing in Munich and then get the bye week and then host the Bears.
NFL certainly did them a solid because you're coming off the bye week, but you're not doing a full 2 weeks off the bye week. So you shouldn't have rust, but you're getting a week and a half rest. So you should have minimal rust, but you should have optimal health, as optimal as you can have for your players because you're getting a week and a half break. The NFL definitely did the Lions a solid and set them up to give their best foot forward on that Thanksgiving matchup. So the advantage in that, I would have to give to the Lions.
The Lions are 2-8 since 2016 on Thanksgiving. They are 1-4 under Dan Campbell. With that being said, you still think the Lions got the Bears number in this game, which would mean Ben Johnson starts his career as a Bears head coach 0-3 against his former team.
I got to see what type of team the Lions are able to put together. I know he and the Bears were swept by the Lions last year. However, that has to be prefaced by the fact that the Bears were a young team and a new team when they faced the Lions in week 2. They were still learning the scheme. They were still learning each other. They were still learning the coaching staff. and the coaching staff was still learning them. The next time the Bears played the Lions was in a game that was pretty much meaningless for the Bears. What we do know about that game is the Bears did play their starters. But what came out after is the Bears didn't game plan for that game, and they didn't scheme for that game, which I understood. Ben Johnson didn't want to put anything on tape for the Packers because we knew we were playing the Packers the next week. He didn't want to put anything on film for them to study and for them to game plan over. 'Cause I'm not trying to make excuses, but both Lions losses are easily explained. I don't think the Lions necessarily have the Bears number. I just think they ran into favorable times to play the Bears last year. I don't expect them to sweep the Bears this year. However, the NFL did give them a favorable opportunity this year to win on Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna lie. I'm keeping a buck with you. They gave them good favor for this one. Bears coming off a short week. Lions coming off a bye.
Let's get some record predictions. For September, the Bears play the Carolina Panthers at Carolina, and they come home to play the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. What's your record for September?
3-0.
I give them 2-1. I don't know what to expect from the Philadelphia Eagles right now. I'm pretty sure I know what to expect out of Minnesota. I'm pretty sure I know what to expect out of Carolina. I'm not disrespecting either one. I think both of them are legit teams, at least 7+ win teams.
I agree.
But I think the Bears got them in that. I think the
And
Bears go start the season.
I agree with that. I don't think the Panthers. I think Bryce Young has improved a lot. I think his ceiling is definitely capped. I don't see them being able to put up enough points to hang with the Bears. The Vikings, assuming Kyler Murray is a starting quarterback, he is an upgrade. The Bears pretty much fumbled the bag against the Vikings last year in September. I don't think they do it again. I agree with you about the Eagles, but I think it's hard to project what the Eagles are, but I think this might be a down year for the Eagles. I just don't like the way they were trending towards the end of last year into the playoffs and this year. I think that's a team that can fall from playoffs to non-playoffs. I think the Eagles actually be a 6 or 7 win team.
I don't think since the Eagles are going to take a significant step back, but because I don't know what to expect from them. They do have a new OC and some other coaches. I'm gonna stall them out. Let's go to October. The Bears host the Jets at home. They go to see the Packers on October 11th. They go to see the Atlanta Falcons on the 18th, and they finish the month hosting the Patriots. 2 games on the road, 2 games at the house. What's your record for October?
I'm going 3-1 in October. The Packers are going to be pumped. They're going to be hyped. They're going to have the whole town on their side, and they're going to want their get back for the big loss that decided the division and the playoffs. And they're probably going to have the refs on their side, cheating Wisconsin State. I'm going to give the Packers that win, and I hate that that's such a dirty word in my mouth. I had the Bears actually going into Atlanta and losing, but I just can't see neither left-hand quarterback beating the Bears. I just don't see the Bears losing to Tua or Michael Penix. So, no. 3-1 in October. And yes, I have the Bears beating the Fighting Rossinis in the October. I said fighting because I don't know if I can say the other F word, but I have them beating the Fighting Rossinis to end the month.
I'm a mirror that 3-1 with the Bears in October. I got the Bears beating the Jets, obviously, because the Jets. I got the Bears losing to the Packers in Lambeau. I'll stall the Packers out. They get their get back. They get their get back right now.
Keyword.
Segue to later. Week 6, the Bears are going down there with an agenda in Atlanta. They're going to get those comp picks. They don't get it in blood. They're tired of waiting.
I like that.
They're going to get that back. And week 7, where the Bears host the Patriots. Listen, you already spoke of it. The variable, he may not be the coach by this time because of that. And all the distractions.
Even before that, I had the Patriots taking a step back. I had them regressing even without Vrabel putting his wheelie in places where they shouldn't have been seen getting put in. Notice I said that. I'm not going to judge that man for cheating. I'm going to judge the style in which he cheated. Just like I judge Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in the style. Don't get caught. And don't get caught that publicly stupid.
White people don't ever think they can ever get caught, man, doing anything.
They always think they can cheat and get away with it. And you know what? They cheat their way to the presidency. They cheat their way to the Super Bowl. Hey, it's been their world.
This Patriots game is the first of 3 straight primetime games for the Bears. heavyweights in each one. I got the Bears starting off that 3 straights with a W. On obviously the distractions with the variable thing is out there, but we saw Drake May in the playoffs. I think a book is out on him. The regression was real in the playoffs.
Yep.
Does he, flip the switch and go take it up a notch in his third season? Who's to say? Who don't know? But I think what we saw in the playoffs when the lights were brightest, ugh, I'm just saying right now on May 15th, his stock isn't as high with me. So I'm going to take the Bears in this one right here. And Caleb, he was the number one pick for a reason. Now,
And I think Caleb definitely comes in that game ready to perform. He hears the talk about Drake May being considered the best quarterback in that class. He remembers the last time he faced Drake May at Soldier Field. Drake May doesn't leave Soldier Field with 2 wins to start his career. Let me declare that right now. Drake May does not get to go 2-0 in Soldier Field to start his career.
bear down. November. The Bears start the month going to Seattle. The only time the Bears cross the Mississippi, a long flight. There's never an easy place to play in Seattle. That's where the Bears start the month. They come back and host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football. Then it's their bye week, and then they end the month hosting the New Orleans Saints, and then going to see Detroit for Thanksgiving. 4 games. There's 3 games in November. What's the record?
The Bears going 2-2 this month.
Okay.
I
What's the
actually have them
losses?
beating the defending Super Bowl champions. Spoiler alert. They beat Seattle in Seattle.
Bear down.
It's their first home loss of the season to the Buccaneers because you're playing
Wow.
3 straight. Yeah, the Buccaneers sneak in and get one. I figure the Bears have a little downer coming off Monday night game against Seattle. I think that's going to be a physical game, an emotional game. And I think the Bears are really going to assert themselves as the dominant team in the NFC. And I just think coming from Monday night to Sunday, short week, I think the Buccaneers sneak a win out. So
The good thing about this schedule and all these high profile games that the Bears are playing, they're not back to back to back. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in back to back as in a sense of game after game. They have a lot of prep time within these games. If you go back all the way to the Patriots game is a Thursday night game. Thursday night football to play the Patriots. Monday night football to play the Seattle Seahawks. Then Sunday night football to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then a bye week. So there's a lot of prep time for the Bears to get up for these games. So with that being said, I like the Bears. I like the Bears' shot to win Seattle as well. I'm going to go ahead and say I like the Bears to be 3-1 in this month. Q. Got the only loss that the Bears would take would be Detroit, like we talked about earlier. I think that would be a tough task coming off. It's a short week, and then Detroit had already prepared a long time for you. And I do want to stall Detroit out. Yes, they got all the weapons in the world, and I am a fan of their new offensive coordinator that they brought in. I want to see what they do. There's a reason why they're the betting favorites to win this division this year. So I want to see what they do. I'm gonna stall them out. I like the Bears' shot against Seattle. I'm not taking Tampa Bay to beat the Bears. Of course not. If the Bears can beat Tampa Bay when Tom Brady is the quarterback, they can beat Tampa Bay with Baker as the quarterback. Give me the Bears in that game. And
so you like Drew Petzing?
yes, I do. I think he's a decent offensive mind. In fact, I would go past these. I think he's a really good offensive mind. I like what they got going on.
Now, the only thing I want to add to that, do you think that they made the right call not bringing in Mike McDaniels? Because that was the guy that I think they interviewed, and that was the guy that was really linked to them. And that's a guy who's been heralded as a good offensive mind. You think that they made the right decision, basically?
No, I'm not saying that he was the best man for the job. I think the guy that they did decide to hire is a good hire.
Okay.
I did not want Mike McDaniels in this division. I'm so happy that they chose not to.
I don't want Mike McDaniels having. I see what he does with Devon A-Chain. I know how creative he is. I don't want him having Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No, did not want that.
At least not in this division. He can have them over. Where did Mike McDaniels end up going?
He's in L.A. With the Chargers, right? Yeah, he was the Chargers.
Okay, in a year or two, Jahmyr and Amon-Ra St. Brown can go over there. If Jahmyr doesn't want to reunite with Ben Johnson, Sneak preview. If he doesn't want to reunite with Ben Johnson.
Other than other games in the month, I had the Bears taking out the Saints. Obviously, I'm not worried about them, but the Lions, I will stall them out. We got 1-2 so far to start the season in the division. So 1-2. All right, now we get to December. Now it's time to make your hay.
Money time.
The Bears start the month hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then they have the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Then they play their second straight road game in Buffalo and finish the month on Christmas hosting the Packers. That game that they host the Packers is on Netflix, Q. Just FYI. Q.
Netflix and chill. I got the Bears beating the Jaguars. I got them beating the Dolphins. I think the Jaguars regress a little bit. I got them beating the Dolphins. I respect Buffalo. I respect the bounce back. DJ Moore is going to lay on the ground 4 times injured, and he's going to bounce up each time. I'll give DJ Moore his revenge game. I got them losing to the Bills. And on Christmas, we all get a great gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
Beating the Packers. 3-1 in December.
I'm going to match you, Q. I got 3-1 as well, and I got the same games. I got the Bears only losing to Buffalo. Listen, I pointed out that the Bears play the Packers on Christmas on Netflix, right? I did that for a reason. You can't spell cinema without Iceman.
Stay woke.
Caleb's going to put on a show on Christmas in front of everybody on Netflix. Bear down.
And hopefully the Packers come into that game with 5 or 6 losses, and he closes the door on them, either winning the division title or maybe even getting to the playoffs.
Packers ain't got no gifts coming on Christmas.
No.
So at this point, we both have the Bears at 11 wins going into January, both at 2-2 in the division. The last 2 games of the season are divisional games. Lions up first at the crib. Vikings, TBD, last game of the season. How we finish this off? Are we sweeping the Vikings? Yes or no?
TBD. TBA.
TBA, the belt ass?
Well, I feel like the Bears will be heading into that last game with their 12th win of the season. Are they resting starters that game? Is Ben Johnson scheming? Can we get the number 1 seed? Do we have the number 1 seed locked up? Are we locked into the 2 or 3 seed and Ben Johnson doesn't scheme for that game? Does Minnesota need it? So that game is a toss-up to me. All things being equal, if the Bears need to beat Minnesota and Minnesota, they will beat Minnesota and Minnesota, just like they beat Minnesota and Minnesota the previous year. I do have them beating the Lions, though. So I have them going into that last game of the season 12-4 with, if necessary. Just like in Game 7, if the Bears necessarily have to beat Minnesota, I would project that in a normal year, 13 wins will get you number 1 seed or number 2 seed, especially if you have the tiebreakers over your conference ops. So that one is TBA. If I'm just going to paint the scenario that the Bears are 12-4 going into that last game, and that there's somebody else in the NFC 12-4, maybe the Rams, maybe the Niners, maybe the Seahawks. So the Bears need that win. They go get that win. They go get that number 1 seed. They go get that bye. And all paths to the Super Bowl go through Chicago.
The Lions had won 7 of the last 8 meetings coming into the season against the Bears. If you add that loss that we said they're going to have on Thanksgiving, that's 8 of the last 9, right? That's got to end at some point. I got the Bears taking care of that one because there's no way Ben is going to go 0-4 to start his career against his old squad. I just can't see it. Not the way they were supposed to regress. And I do think the Lions are going to have some type of bounce back this year. But we got to cut the crap. That's got to stop. We got to beat the Lions.
They're going to blow the Lions out. The Lions are going to be sitting at 8 or 9 wins and desperately need that for playoff seeding, playoff positioning. And Ben is going to be like, you know what? I'm going to teach you all a lesson. Teach you a lesson, Dan Campbell. Got the Bears winning that game 47-10.
Bear down.
Yeah.
I just know the Bears win. Now, I agree with you. It wasn't necessary for the Vikings in week 18. We don't know at this point. I'm going to say that the Bears don't need that game based on how we got it. We got the Bears both at 12 wins going into week 18. We expect the Rams to be good, right? We expect the Seattle Seahawks to be good again. The San Francisco 49ers, they're probably going to be good again too. So I don't know if we can just say punt a game. I'm going to say right now, again, this is May 15th. The Bears need that game. Go ahead and just smack Vikings across their forehead. Let's do it for Prince. The Bears get their first division record since probably 2018, maybe? Yeah.
And back to
Give me the
back
Bears
division champions.
back-to-back division champions. Give me the Bears at 13-4, Q.
I love it. Now, last year, I think I had the Bears at 10-7. You had the Bears at
Mm-hmm.
11-6, I believe. I believe you were right on the head.
That's right.
So before anybody gets here doubting, we have a good track record with this. No matter what happens, expect to see between 12 and 13 wins next year.
We did say earlier in the episode the Bears played 2 holidays, and they will play a third one. And if you don't believe us, how about you believe a Chicago Bear?
Who wins the 2027 Super Bowl?
The winner of the 2027 Super Bowl will be the Chicago Bears.
Oh,
Yeah. I won't even build it up.
that is awesome.
I won't even build it up. I already promised my girl and my dad and my daughter Valentine's Day, we will be at the Super Bowl. So it's happening this year. The Bears versus whoever else makes it on the other side. Doesn't even matter. Bear down.
Bear down, Q.
Bear down.
Appreciate you tapping into this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Don't matter if you was watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with everybody on the block, and hit the notification bell so you never miss none of our daily drops. And to all the guys from the shy, we say 3 things. Bear down, fly the W, and sell the team, Jerry.